Hi teachers, welcome back to Teaching Tips in 12 Minutes or Less. My name is Jessica Tobin and I am the blogger behind Elementary Nest. Today we are going to be talking all about how to take your Christmas Around the World unit and make it work virtually. So a lot of teachers are finding themselves where they are either hybrid or virtual, or if you are in person, you've got kids at desks and they really can't socially gather, so they're finding themselves doing a lot of computer work. So I'm going to dive deeper into how to make your unit work virtually so that you can still participate in all the things that you usually get to do with your Christmas Around the World unit, but you can make it work virtually. The first way that I suggest breaking down your Christmas Around the World unit is to still include those mentor texts and those read-alouds that you've always used. I have a link in the description to a blog post that I have that accompanies this YouTube video, and in this blog post I do have links within there to strong Christmas Around the World mentor texts that I think you'll really appreciate, but I have two that I'm going to talk about today. These are my two favorites. The first one is Walk This World at Christmas Time, and the second is A World of Cookies for Santa. Now the Walk This World at Christmas Time is really interactive for the students because there's little lift pieces, like little flat pieces. And what they do is they have these beautiful illustrations and they go over details about Christmas Around the World in that country. And it asks them, okay, here's everything we do, where am I? So if the students have any prior knowledge on Christmas in that country, it's a really fun activity for them. However, if they don't have any prior knowledge, they do get the answer down here. So it's a good way to introduce different countries and what they're doing. Plus they have these little flaps, like I was talking about, that give the students a picture idea of what goes on in each country. So that's a fun one that students love. And then I personally love A World of Cookies for Santa. First, you start off with this cute little map of where Santa goes. And then each page has a heading of what country, and then there's a little paragraph about how Christmas is celebrated in that country. And then at the back of the text, there's little recipes, so you can photocopy that, send it home, or maybe take a little snapshot for your parents. But love that one as well. If you are interested in the links for those, the link in my description below will take you to the blog post, and both of these stories are in that blog post. Now, the way that you're going to have to do those mentor texts or read aloud might be a little bit different. If you're new to virtual learning because you've been in person all year, or maybe you just want a refresher, what I would suggest is one of two things. You can either do a live read aloud where you have students meet at a Zoom call or a Google Meet, and you do the read aloud, you stop and you ask questions and you interact with the students as you're reading. Or you can do a pre-recorded video of you reading the book, and then you can send the students your link of you reading that book. So there's definitely two options for doing those read alouds, whichever one is easiest for you. I know some teachers aren't allowed to do pre-recorded lessons, but if you are, I would definitely pre-record all your read alouds as well, so that you can really work in those opportunities for students to maybe type in the chat answers to questions, or it gives you an opportunity to interact and do other things while the students are reading that book. The second part we're going to talk about is actually something that works virtually and non-virtually, and this is actually just a freebie that's going to help teachers get organized. In the description, you can grab the link for the freebie, and this is 4 pages if you want to do all 4 weeks, but each page is a week. So if you want to do a 1-week unit, you have 1 page, 2-week units are 2 pages, and so on. But it gives you an opportunity to write what you're going to do on each day for each country. So if you want to cover 10 countries, you can fill in the countries and write what you're going to do for each country on each day. So maybe day 1, 2, and 3, you're going to teach about Brazil, and you can write each day what you're going to do. So that's a freebie. Make sure to go ahead and grab that. That's not a virtual tip, but that definitely helps your virtual planning of what students are going to do on each day. So just like with your regular Christmas Around the World unit, you want your students to have that opportunity to have their passports. So in a typical situation, your students print out a passport. They have this cute little stapled booklet that they've made and colored. might not look that way this year, so we're going to take those passports and we're going to make them work digitally. So each student will receive their digital passport link from their teacher, and they're going to save it in a special place. As long as they don't turn it in on Google Classroom, they will be able to do like a working Google Slide activity, so they can come back each day and fill in a little bit more information. But each day that they have a new country, they get to write maybe a fact or a piece of information that they learned about that country and add it to their passport. So that's one way that you're going to kick off your Christmas Around the World unit, is to definitely still have that passport activity for the students. So now it's time to dive into the different countries and how they celebrate Christmas around the world. So there's definitely a lot of different options for you to give that content to students. The first option are mini books that I have created. These mini books come in Google Slides, and there are 3 pages with reading paragraphs of content with matching images for the students to look through and learn. Your second option is to find YouTube videos or videos on websites that provide informational videos to students about different Christmas activities in different countries around the world. You can also, in my original unit of Christmas Around the World, there was like a picture map for students, and the teacher would read off of a piece of paper, and the students would look at the picture map while the teacher read information about the picture map. I did change it this year where the students are provided the information in case the teacher doesn't present that information to them for each lesson. So if this is more of an activity where the teacher says, okay, here's all the materials for Brazil, you can give the students the picture map on their own. So the students are going to still see the same thing that they would see in the picture map. It's just set up differently, and the sentence for each picture is actually provided to them in that picture map that has been reformatted in their Google Slides, so that if the teacher is not there to read it to them, or if they're diving in on their own, they can have that to refer back to. So that is another way for students to get information on each of the countries. Now, if you don't own my unit on Christmas Around the World and you don't have access to any of the digitally converted resources, there are still plenty of things that you can find out there to create your own. And one of those things is a really interesting, let's see, I'm pulling it up now. So it's from Microsoft Office, and you can download a template for free from them. And it's a PowerPoint template for a virtual field trip. So it provides either you, the teacher, to create your own virtual field trip for each country to give to the students, or you can use it for the students and have them create their own for each country. And that would definitely be a higher level activity for maybe intermediate grades, for them to do a little bit of research and then fill in this free template. The free template is also in the link in my description below for the blog post. So if you're interested in that, you can grab that in the blog link. And then finally, you have some follow-up activities after you introduce each country to the student. So, for example, like I said in the beginning, if you do day 1, 2, and 3, you're going to teach about Christmas in Brazil. On day 3, after the students have researched and read all about Christmas in Brazil, then they can do their interactive activities where they can prove or show what they know. This is also going to be an opportunity for them to continue with those digital learning activities from the Christmas Around the World unit. There's a drag and drop activity for interactive pieces. This used to be like an interactive flip book, but instead I wasn't able to digitally convert an interactive flip book, so I kind of recreated it to be a drag and drop activity where the students are given the topic and they have to match a picture to the topic and a little bit of information about that topic. So that's one of the activities they can do for follow-up. They also have a fact writing map where they can fill in information about what they've learned about Christmas in that country. And then finally, they have to, of course, after they have visited that country, go back to their passport and write 2 facts that they like the most about all of the facts they learned about Christmas in that country. Now, if you're trying to do a more condensed unit and you're not doing 3 or 4 full weeks, you might want to only spend 1 day on each country or even 1 day on a country. So most teachers spend 2 to 3 weeks on this, and they split it up over 10 to 15 instructional days, and they might do like 20 minutes of their reading block where they learn about Christmas around the world. So if that's definitely something you can do, it's a very fun activity for the students to be able to dive into those countries and learn all about how Christmas is celebrated in different countries other than their own. So, like I was just saying, some teachers may not have a full 2 or 3 weeks to be able to teach a full Christmas around the world unit because virtual teaching is just a mess. But if you are looking for a super condensed Christmas around the world virtual idea, I have created reading passages in the past, and now they're digitally converted, where the students could get 1 or 2 passages a day and learn about Christmas around the world in different countries still, and you're not really giving up much of either your social studies time or your reading time. So that's definitely one option if you are looking to teach Christmas around the world in a crunch. So like I've said throughout this video, we talked today all about how to virtually teach Christmas around the world. It's going to be a little bit different this year, but you're going to make it work because you're doing awesome at virtually teaching. Whether you are doing hybrid or in person with kids socially at their desks or teaching all virtually, hopefully some of these ideas can work in your classroom. I have a couple of links that I wanted to talk about. Don't forget to grab your freebie. That freebie is going to help you map out what countries you're going to teach on which day and what activities you're going to do for each country. I also have a link to a blog post that's going to give you an idea to consume all of this material in a different way. You can read it, you can see pictures, you can grab links as you need. And then I also have 2 links to products that really will help you out in your virtual Christmas Around the World unit. I have my full Christmas Around the World unit that has digital conversions for each country. So that's going to be if you have more time to really dive into each country. And then I have a link to my Christmas Around the World reading passages. If you are really crunched for time, that's going to be your opportunity to still teach Christmas around the world, but to maybe only do it in 10 to 15 minutes a day. So I will see you guys next Friday with more teaching tips. I hope you liked my break from ELA to talk about all things Christmas. Let me know if you have any comment or questions about the content from today. Let me know in the comments and I can reach back out to you. And as always, like and subscribe so that you can get more future content every Friday. I will see you guys next Friday with more tips for teachers. Thank you guys. Bye.